you, Tony? What's your name? Ezekiel. Fuck you, Ezekiel. Fuck you.
Had to switch up on the flow, gotta keep them on their toes. I move quick, I make the most, why they copy what I wrote. Follow everything I post, never trip about a clone, cause they know what's a sheep to a goat. Yeah. Welcome to the main event. Applying pressure, but I promise they ain't make it then. In their heads, living free, I ain't paying rent. Wake up in the AM, making G's like Mercedes-Benz. Whoa, hey, please don't take offense. It isn't you, I'm just not interested in making friends. My biggest fear is finding out that this came and went. So go ahead, but I'm staying in.
I've been waiting for this. Oh boy, I've been waiting for this. What's up?
Motherfucker, I hate this motherfucker.
No, Sam, that's not how we do it. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Let me show you how we take care of the creature. Go, Rita!
No, I'm hold on. Let me finish my point, you jerk.
You don't call your dad a jerk.
Well, you're being a jerk.
The laws of physics do not exist on my charcoal grill.
But what's the weirdest thing you've ever killed and ate?
Siamese twins.
Siamese. What did you say? Siamese twins.
But my agent said I may need to get a lawyer after that comment.
Oh God, I just got what you were saying. That's not what I meant. Oh man, that is just off the wall bad. We just had one of our guests on, Jason Fry, talking about the Celtics are going to win their 19th championship. So what have you got to say about that?
Who this Jason Fry character is, he was talking about doing hard shit. Well, his prediction is bullshit. Okay. All right. I have a feeling we're about to be joined by Sir George. He normally comes out of the black hole. Oh, there he is. Sir George. He is back.
Play football. What's up?
Well, I just want to say,
Hey, Jerry. Hey, Jerry. I just saw Jerry. Hey, Jerry. You said, well, this ain't your number one. You're number one, Jerry. Number one.
Oh, my God. We're moving on. We've killed the Cowboys. Matter of fact, get out. I'm tired of talking to you. Give me freaking JJ. Bring JJ on the show. Holy crap. Let's hear his opinion about this damn trade and why they made this decision. I think you're trying to cover your own ass right now and just not admit
of ninth in the country.
I think you're just trying to cover your ass right now. And don't.
You know what? I got a big ass, so
that's a lot of
cover. A lot of cover. It take a blanket, damn it.
More like a drape.
Did you just pull a drape? Is that so I can open it up when I need to go?
Hey, you're getting too deep into this. Rivalries make sports great, but they got to be on the same level. And I'm sorry, Angel Reese ain't on the level of Caitlin Clark. Like, it's not Magic Bird. If you don't want to commit to it, take your ass and be a PE All-Star.
First off, you need to get your facts effing straight.
How do you like me now? What? You're the coach. Shut up, dude. All you haters, shut the hell up. Just shut the hell up. Whoa. I won 5 Super Bowls, damn it. How dare you call the Cowboys a shit team? Watch the Cowboys. It'll be fun, they said. Bloody fucking hell, it was no fun.
It was like riding a train around one of the Kardashians' asses, and you just disappear into this abyss of ass. Somehow he talked about buttholes that made me hungry for a PBJ sandwich. It's 35-7, and it's only 7 because you just scored. Shut up.
And they're playing with sticks, and they're playing with a little puck all the time.
Expert analysis right there. They play with sticks and pucks. Trying to grow the game, man. Global game.
These people, they don't give a damn. State?
Well, I don't really know, but it drives me nuts.
Mm.
You're almost gonna laugh. I can see it. Almost fixing to lose it. It drives me nuts.
Oh man.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
Well, folks. We are back this Wednesday, the self-proclaimed best in the podcast game. Back at it again live on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Self-proclaimed. It is self-proclaimed. There ain't no one else saying we're the greatest in the podcast game, but we do our best. I am Casey, the remix schedule, the bald and the beautiful, repping the number 3 in the country, Texas A&M background. Eddie, the original schedule. Say hello to the people.
Hello to the people. That's right, number 3 in the country. And moving on up.
Well, big game this weekend. We'll get into that this little later on in the show. Before we always start the show with a joke. Before we get to the joke, I'm going to go ahead and go through the rundown, and then we'll see if the old man, that should give the old man a little more time to come up with something a little funnier, because he's not been doing very well lately. So I'm waiting for the look. I was just waiting. There it is. There's the look. I purposely prodded at him just to get that look on the way back over here. So, all right. Well, we're going to start the show once we get through this part. We got the Dallas Cowboys performance against the Commanders. Oh, man. Doubling up. Deuce to 4-4. I like it. Then we got the Houston Texans. What is going on in Houston? Then we got our NFL roundabouts get lost in the rest of the NFL, like everyone in Fort Worth, Texas, navigating that roundabout on 183. Then we got a little college football. Then we got the World Series starting this Friday. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened in Toronto in the Mariners series, because we both thought Seattle was going to the World Series. We both said that. They had a 2-0 lead. Then we had NBA tip-off last night, and we got the Mavs Spurs tonight. Number 1 pick in action. We do have a making most of your moment brought to you by yours truly, but I gave the old man the video, so he's going to introduce that. Then we'll finish on with some tidbits, randoms, and our whiskey of the week. All right. So go ahead, hit the people with some comedy. Even though we're not comedians, it's probably going to be disappointing. Don't have too high of hopes.
No. I think a lot of the things we say people laugh at. But have you ever heard of quiet tennis?
Heard of or heard quiet tennis?
Heard of quiet tennis. The same as regular tennis, but it's without the racket. Whoa!
That makes sense. Didn't get me to laugh, but yeah.
Well, I could also talk about how I really love the word plethora. It means a lot to me. So there you go.
Okay, three amigos. Oh, one segment I forgot to mention the rundown, picks with Pops. We had picks with Pops. I do have to ask the question though, we made plans with Sir George. Did Sir George make it to San Antonio with you?
No, he did not.
He did not. His flight got canceled with all these FFA shortages with the government shutdown, I guess. So maybe Sir George will be able to make the flight next week. But we will have Jay Kidd in the house when we talk about NBA right before tip-off. Somehow he is getting to Houston, Texas, and back for the game in a span of 20 minutes. I don't know how the man does it, but Coach Jay Kidd is in the house.
Well, he heard about all those King protests, so Sir George did not want to make it back over here because he felt they were disrespecting the King. So, just so you know.
I thought he was just afraid to have a king again. So, it's been a while for them. I mean, they still got the royal family over there, but the royal family, random fact, the royal family is the largest landowners in the world. They still technically own the land that Canada and Australia are on. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, well,
It's not
and
like
our
they could ever kick
background
everyone
is
off. But
coming from King Longshank, so I just want to know who screwed it up along the way. I should have a castle and a lot of money and a lot of land.
yeah,
Somebody messed it up along the way.
we are descended from royalty, ancestry.com. Do you think ancestry.com, when you get past a certain point, just kind of goes, you know what, we're going to throw something fun in there just to keep them interested?
Well, no, there was actually records kept depending on how affluential your family was going way, way back. They kept records.
They kept
So,
records. And speaking of records, the Cowboys are 2-1. Or yes, 2-1. Did I get that right?
yep. I mean, you cut out on me. My internet's
Oh,
going to be here tonight, obviously.
well, for the folks who don't know, the old man is on location in a secret area, doing secret things for secret people. And if you believe that, I got some oceanfront property in Arizona. No, I said, speaking of records, the Cowboys 2-1, I do believe, at the moment. Am I right? Or are we 3-2-1? I think it's 3-2-1, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're 3-2-1.
3-2-1. That's what I was thinking. I'm brain fart. It's getting smelly in my office here because I'm brain farting so much on the Cowboys record right now. So, the Cowboys. We both
3-1.
I'm sorry.
3-1.
3-1. All right, so we got back to 500 with whooping the Commanders' rear. As CJ Gardner Johnson would say, belt to asses, folks. Belt to asses. 44-22. Beautiful performance by the offense on Sunday against the hated Commanders. I disliked the Redskins growing up more than any other team. I got to be honest. Growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, I know for you it was probably the Eagles in the 80s and early 90s. I think everyone hates the Eagles now equally, but it was a phenomenal performance by the offense. The defense held their own. They did give 15 up in the first half, on pace to give up 30, and they locked that down. Of course, Jaden Daniels going down helps the cause in that. What were your takeaways from this performance with the Dallas Cowboys and the offense and the defense kind of getting stout in the second half?
Well, everybody always talks about CD and Pickens and how they're going to work together. Well, I think they really, really coexist and like each other. I think they work well together.
Speaking of that, I want you to expound on that point and how they work together. I think CeeDee Lamb getting hurt is actually a blessing in disguise. When he got hurt, it was a dumb decision to run him out of the backfield like that, but I think it gave George Pickens the confidence to within this offense on what he did when he was gone, and now CeeDee's back in the fold. Do you see the dominance between those two receivers moving forward in the season?
Yeah, but I would change that to say it gave Dak confidence in Pickens, because now he became his go-to receiver. And you look at some of the throws, Dak says, I'm going to let him go get it, because he's not necessarily open on all these throws, especially these long ones. But Pickens is one of those guys, kind of like Des Bryant used to be when Romo would throw to him. He wasn't necessarily open, but he trusts his receiver enough to go up and get that football. And so now I think the confidence is there in Pickens, yes, but I think it's more in Dak now has two receivers and a tight end that we don't seem to mention a lot, which is also one of the best in the league right now, Mr. Fergalicious. I just think that going forward now, and you throw in the running game, a lot of people are talking about CeeDee and Pickens, but the running game is what's helping that passing game work, because they have a running back in Williams that gets them down the field in these short, when they're in short situations or anything like that. So, on the defensive side of the ball, well, good thing is Mr. Overshawn has been practicing and is eyeing coming back this week against the Raiders. Or not this week. I'm sorry, but he's eyeing a return for the Raiders game, which I'm not sure where that is in the schedule here. But
so he's in a 21-day window to be activated. He can be activated in that time. I think ultimately, and it's a great point you brought him up, is that's kind of reinforcements coming. His athleticism is phenomenal. We'll see how he looks after the second knee injury. I hope he recovers like he did the first one. But I think he's going to need the entire 21 days. So I don't think you're going to see him this week or next week. I think it's going to be that third week because he hasn't played any football. And that I think he's got to get full speed reps for a few weeks until they're fully comfortable to bring him back.
So we're talking what, week 10?
Somewhere around there.
That is when, and that's actually, no, that's not week 10 because that's Cowboys bye. So it's week 11 that they will come back, that we're talking about him. Yeah, it'd be the Monday night game against the Raiders. That's what he's eyeing. So that gives him, quite a few days before we get there, with a bye week thrown in there. So I think
which would be smart, right? Which would be smart because that gives him 4 weeks, essentially a full practice before.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said that would be a smart plan to have him come back off the bye because that'd be 4 weeks of practice before you see Overshawn, and I think that would be the right thing to do if you're the coaching staff and the training staff on that.
Yeah. Once again, I'm having internet issues cutting out on me. But, yeah, I'm with you.
All right. Did you made the point, and I will say that I ultimately was pretty down on this particular person. What has Fergalicious, as you like to call him, as Jake Ferguson, they extended his contract. Is he living up to it? Do you think he is the permanent solution there? I think his performance this year has been incredible, and he's proved me wrong and many others wrong because the last couple of years it's been, I would say, subpar when it comes to tight end play. How'd you think of his performance this past Sunday and what he's done this year? I think he's been pretty dang good.
Yeah, he's done pretty dang good. I think I've always thought that he has the attitude, to go in there, and what I like about him is his tenacity, I guess I should say. He reminds me a little bit of Kittle out of the 49ers. He likes to have fun, but he's also very, very aggressive, I should say, in his play, which, has caused them a few injuries at times. But he gives Dak another one that is a check down. And, I'm not saying he's on the level of Jason Witten yet, but Jason Witten, it took him a few years to get there too. So I think he's a full-time, he is the solution at that position. They don't need to go look for anybody else. Once again, I just think this offense, if they're going to make it to the playoffs, obviously it's going to be this offense that's going to get them there. And I think they have the tight end. They obviously have the quarterback, which is A lot of people are saying, well, Jerry kind of stuck all his money in Dak, and yeah, well, he's actually looking pretty good right now in that decision. And it shows. We've always said if Dak had some weapons and a decent offensive line, which it continues to get better because they're young, this offense is hard to stop. I mean, obviously, they're scoring 30, 40 points a game every single game, which they kind of have to do in most games playing against another good team because the defense hasn't been able to stop anybody. But the defense is going to get better. You get Overshawn back. He's going to feel up that, what most people don't remember, or some people do remember, is he's very good at getting around the outside, and which was something that him and Micah did together for a while. But I always thought Overshawn was a lot faster than Micah and seemed to have some bigger plays.
Yeah, Overshown is more your traditional outside linebacker versus Micah is more in a defensive end build, bigger, quote unquote, I guess you would say a bigger linebacker. Overshown was never really rushing from the DN. He would blitz from that linebacker position. But sideline to sideline, he was a blur, an absolute blur. And he would run down a lot of those runs that could possibly break. You talk about Dak playing at a high level, the weapons he has. You mentioned the running game and Devontae. I think Devontae Williams is going to have I think he's going to be very, very extra motivated this week. They're playing Denver this weekend at Mile High. I'll be on with the Denver guys after our show's over, actually. So we're going to chat a little bit about that. But the defense needs help, and there's trade rumors going all around. Max Crosby's name's been blowing up in the last, I said that a few weeks ago, but it's really been blown up after the Trey Wingo tweet. I've heard discussions about the Dolphins because how bad they've been. Maybe Fitzpatrick, the safety, and maybe Bradley Chubb off the edge for a first rounder or first and fifth or somewhere around there. Or I've also heard a couple other, if you look at the bad teams in the NFL right now, I've heard Quinnen Williams' name thrown around a little bit from the Jets, the defensive tackle who can play really all four positions on the line, who Jerry tried to get in a trade for Michael Parsons. So I don't know if the Jets are actually going to give him up. But do you believe the Cowboys need to make a move for this defense to make a serious push towards the playoffs and ultimately try to make a run in the playoffs?
Hang on. I'm going to switch connections. I keep losing you.
Okay. Well, while he's switching connections, I guess I'll answer my own question in the fact of, yes, I think the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, Will McClay, all those boys, they need to make a move. And if you can get Max Crosby, holy crap, please do it. That he is a game wrecker. He plays the run and pass equally as well. He is a dominant guy. If I've seen a couple trade options thrown out there, like Terrence Steele, a first round pick, and another player. I can't remember who was thrown in that trade idea I came across on Twitter. But essentially, the thought is that Terrence Steele, it may have been Trayvon Diggs thrown in that deal, but Terrence Steele probably ain't going to be on this team next year. And you have a capable tackle in Thomas who can play right tackle, who's filled in on almost every spot on the line this year. So ultimately, I think the Cowboys, Jerry Jones, and the rest of that management, they have to make a move at the trade deadline or before to bolster this defense. I do like the Miami idea of Minkah Fitzpatrick and Bradley Chubb. You get two guys on two different levels of your defense. Fitzpatrick's one of the best safeties in the league. That'd be an incredible find. So did you get your did you get your connection switched? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, so far we'll see. It's still fading out from time to time, but I think it's just something I'm going to have to deal with.
All right. Well, I essentially was asking the question and explaining there. Do you believe that for the Cowboys to make a run for the rest of the season and potentially in the playoffs, if they make the playoffs, they need to bolster the defense? They need to make a move. I say yes, because right now, if you don't, it's like what the Rangers did with their pitching staff. They're going to waste a perfectly MVP type year from Dak in this offense. And I think these next 2 to 3 years are really your window with Dak Prescott at quarterback to win a Super Bowl or to even get to an NFC championship game. Forget the damn Super Bowl talk. Let's just get the NFC championship game. So do you think they need to make a move in the next few weeks?
Yes. Do I think they will? I don't know. But they definitely need to. But I think it's on Jerry again. Then he has to admit that he made a mistake letting Micah go, because they need that pass rush, because it's with the way that they're running the defense with tons of zones, which they've obviously been exposed. Anytime they're able to get a little bit of a pass rush, then that helps the secondary, obviously. So, yes, they do need to do something. And I do think the Miami trade makes more sense than going after a Crosby, who's going to cost you a ton of money. Would he help? Obviously, he would. But, yes, they do, because I agree with you. They have the offense right now to get to the promised land, but it's the defense that's going to be the Achilles heel.
Yeah, so on the money thing with Max Crosby, if they do a deal and throw Terrence Steele in there and Trayvon Diggs, you just cleared 30 million cap space right there for next season. I think this team is getting to the point where they're done with Trayvon Diggs. A lot of no one's saying what actually happened with him in this concussion protocol. You heard Jerry Jones. He sounded very sketchy on whether he believed what happened with Trayvon Diggs. I'm not getting a good feeling. To me, he put his house up for sale in Dallas. That's normally not something. And the only reason I'd give a little bit of credence to the Max Crosby also just followed all the Dallas Cowboy players on Instagram. Now, I know that's social media and that you don't want to dive too deep into that, but normally you don't go on a following binge unless you're about to join them or something other people don't. So, or just like Micah did, he started taking everyone off his social media and look, he gets traded. So, now the Raiders have said they're not trading him. They've also gone on a PR campaign to show their love for Max Crosby. If you follow their Twitter and their social media, so I think it's a possibility. I think if you dig Steele in a first rounder, I make that deal because you have a capable backup lineman in Thomas, who is probably going to be your starter next year anyway, and you get rid of a headache in Diggs. But I don't think Diggs has too much. The other one that people are throwing around with Trayvon Diggs is the Patriots and putting him with his brother Stephon Diggs, and of course the Patriots have cap space that they can do. The last point I'll make before we go to sponsor break is the defense played more man defense on Sunday. It was still a lot of zone, but they did play a lot more man. They were a lot more successful. And I also don't think it's a coincidence that they had their second best pass coverage game or their best pass coverage game and their top 2 pass coverage games when Trayvon Diggs hasn't been in the game. So, so did you notice they were playing a little bit more man defense?
Yes, then it showed. I mean, that's been my biggest complaint, is playing these zones over and over and over. And I just don't think they have the personnel. There's certain people who can play zone well. There's certain people who can't. There's certain corners that are man-to-man. I would have never put Deion Sanders in a zone defense. He's not a zone guy. I just don't think the personnel was set up to run as much zone, and that played out this weekend because they played a lot, like I said, they played a lot more man to man, and lo and behold, the defense looked better. So there you go.
Yeah, your Dion point, who's on my wall right here. It's my favorite football player of all time. Dion didn't care what you called. He was manned up every play. He didn't even go to the defensive huddle, if you remember that with the Dallas Cowboys. They just said, whatever we're doing, Dion's on an island. He's got their best player. Goodbye. So that's how good he was. Which is blasphemy. There was some Twitter account or some podcast that was trying to say Dion and Michael Irvin and those guys wouldn't have been able to play in today's NFL. These guys are too fast for them. And I'm sitting there like, you mean these guys who could be absolutely slaughtered across the middle, you could be physical with wide receivers, you had safeties headhunting guys, and you don't think they could play in this soft-ass NFL today? You're out of your damn mind. Get out of here. With that, something that's not out of its mind is easyleadership.com. Let's hear a few words from them.
Parents, help your student find their true path with the Berkman Career Assessment. Imagine if you had discovered your true passion right after high school. How much further along would you be in a fulfilling life? Now picture giving that gift to your student. The Berkman Career Assessment is designed to uncover the career paths that align with your student's unique personality, interests, and needs. Don't let them wander through years of uncertainty. Equip them with clarity and confidence to pursue a future where they thrive. Act now. Invest in their purpose with Berkman today at easyleadership.com or email us for a free career checkup.
Absolutely. Parents, we are going to be announcing over the next week that that career assessment will be dropping in price by about $100. So
No.
going to bring it down to about $150 versus what it has been of $250. So take a gander at easyleadership.com and keep an eye out for that.
All right. Well, we just talked about a team that's on a high, doubling the score of their opponent, 44-20. Now let's get to the Houston Texans. That they just seemed like a free fall. It was fool's gold the last few weeks before the bye week. They had 14 days to prepare for this game, and they looked absolutely inept on offense. I don't know really what to say here other than the offensive line looks completely, it looks like a JV football, high school football team trying to block pro players right now. They look lost. They're not combo blocking. They're not even one-on-one blocking. And it just looks really bad. And CJ Stroud looks rushed, looks panicked. I think he's afraid he's going to get, his head kicked in every damn play. So he looks skittish. And so when your offensive line ain't giving you no time to throw to anybody and you're getting your head kicked in, I'll tell you what, the Houston Texans, they have a unique skill right now as a franchise going back to their inception in the early 2000s. They have the best, other than maybe the Cleveland Browns, the best way possible to ruin a good quarterback. That's what the Houston Texans do. And they're ruining CJ Stroud right now because he came out. He was awesome his rookie year. No one can say anything about that. And these last two seasons, it's a season and a half. It's been rough. So no running game because the offensive line can't block. The defense is very high level. Love the Daniil Hunter. I know Hunter's one of your favorite players, and Will Anderson Jr. I know it was painful to watch. What did you pull out of watching the Texans on offense this past weekend?
Well, before I get to that, if Hunter might be in better trade too. So that would be a guy. I wouldn't mind Hunter. He's still got some gas in the tank.
Yeah, but, if to kind of expound on that, if Texans lose these next one or two games, you might see them going that way. You know, there's also been some names thrown out. The top safety from the Cleveland Browns might be on the market. Some people in Cleveland, you know, because they're horrible and they have a great defense. You're not getting Myles Garrett. That salary cap is way too high. But anyways, continue on your Texans.
So the Texans, yeah, unfortunately, you have to have an offensive line to block, and it does not look good for the Houston Texans. And D'Amico Ryan's days are numbered. Because you think about the beginning of the year, what was expected out of this Texans team. They were expected to have the best defense. They were expected to take the AFC South. And lo and behold, Indiana Jones comes along. You've got other teams doing well. And the Houston Texans are just not. Oh, here we go with look who I talked about. But they're just a mess. Like you said, they're a mess. And it's like I said, D'Amico Ryan, I think this will be his last year. I don't know what they're going to do. I think they should make some trades and maybe see what's going on there. But yeah, it's not good.
It is a mess, and I don't know if D'Amico will get fired. I think ownership and the GM loves D'Amico Ryans. They talk wonderfully about him over and over. I do think they need to move on from Nick Caley, the offensive coordinator. I think it's proved it's not working. And I know people want to try to say, give it, you know, some time or a year. There's first-year OCs that come in and do phenomenal. Look at Kellen Moore last year. And Kellen Moore did great his first year as an OC for the Cowboys. I believe we had the number one offense his first year as an OC. Not saying he's a great head coach or the end-all be-all as an offensive coordinator, but it is possible. So I think what you're going to see in Houston is Nick Caley gets let go in the offseason and Mike McDaniel gets fired in Miami and Mike McDaniel is the offensive coordinator in Houston. I think that's what's going to happen. That's my prediction. Because Mike McDaniel is a great offensive mind. He's just not a great head coach. He just looks too damn goofy in my opinion. But
the way it's going in New Orleans at 1-6, Kellen Moore might be available for offensive coordinator.
No, it's his first year. I don't think they're going to let him go after his first year. I haven't heard anyone talk about Kellen Moore being on the hot seat right now. So, and maybe you heard something I haven't, but I haven't heard any of that. But yeah, I think Mike McDaniel to Houston makes sense next year. But I think D'Amico Ryan needs to try something different, try to spark his team and say goodbye to Nick Caley like yesterday. And I know that's not happening because D'Amico already said he's not going to fire him during the season. He already said that. So he's sticking to his guns. And, you know, maybe if he sticks to it and he's stubborn about it, maybe he does go down with the ship. So who knows on that frame. But, you know, last week, the Texans, you know, Stroud had to throw the ball 50 times. By the way, that was 100% of safety on Stroud. How do you get forward progress when you're moving backwards? That was one of the dumbest calls by the refs. And I'm not dogging the Texans. It just, you got that call in favor. And hell, I think you were in the game when Will Anderson, I think you were only down by like 3 or 4 points when Will Anderson got the strip sack touchdown in the end zone. I think it was like 19-12 or, you know, something like that. It was within a touchdown. And so, but yeah, you're right. I picked the Texans to win the division. I think you did as well. High expectations. I did think Daniel Jones was going to have a career year. I didn't know the Colts were going to be this good. But they're running away with not only the AFC South, they're running away with the AFC. They got the best record in the AFC right now, or maybe in the league. At least they did going into last week. So Texans got a lot to figure out. Nico Collins concussion protocol. He may be back this week. Their number one target. But outside Nico Collins, they don't have a lot other than Dalton Schultz. And Dalton Schultz is just a comfort guy. He's not going to break the bank. He's a guy that you throw it to when you need an outlet, So you need that outlet pass. So, yeah, struggle getting the running game. Nick Chubb, 5 carries for 16 yards. Marks for 10 carries for 15 yards. That's not going to get it done. And obviously they're pass catching. I mean, he had to throw it to someone 23 times. So, but all right, let's go ahead and move to our next commercial break. Once again, the man, the myth, the legends company, easyleadership.com.
Have you heard of the DISC communication tool? Yes, most people in business have. But there is a new tool out there that is tailored for leadership teams. It is called the DISC Work of Leaders and focuses on 3 main areas: vision, alignment, and execution. This amazing assessment is not just a game changer. It is a business strategy necessity if you want to create sustainability. Let's be honest, a lot of executives spend many hours in HR dealing with people issues, and that happens because of reactive leadership. If you are sitting in HR trying to figure out what happened after the fact, then you are not able to concentrate on running your department or business, and it steals your time. Email us or call. It's free to talk about it and learn how to become proactive in your leadership. Big or small, we have a plan to build on your strengths and an action plan for your challenges. Join Eddie Schedule, our CEO and founder, for a quick video on what a report does for you. Head over to our website and scroll down to see this amazing video of the DISC Work of Leaders tool. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, and head over at easyleadership.com. Check it out.
All right, let's go through the NFL, our NFL roundabouts, performances, things that caught our eye. First thing, New York Giants. How did you let that happen? Let Denver
Hit
Broncos.
that up first. I was going to talk about the Bengals. The first game of the week was the Bengals beating the Steelers. But if you want to touch on the Giants, yeah. Well, is their kicker still employed? That's all I want to know. Did they fire him? Is he still there?
I did not see anything about him getting released, so I do believe he is still there.
How do you miss it? I get it. Once in a while, you'll miss an extra point. They're a lot longer now. They're it happens. But not only does he miss more than one extra point, he misses the key extra point after his team comes back, gets the lead, and that's all they need is to at least assure a tie and go into overtime. But he misses it. An extra point for the second time in the game. I mean, he had to ride on a plane with these guys on the way home. I don't know how he did that, because that was the worst in, I don't even know how to describe it. I would have been so mad at him being his teammate. You have one job.
Yeah, he has one job, but to put it all on the kicker, I think is a little bit foolish. 33 points given up in one quarter by a team is ridiculous. The Giants defense, who we say is pretty good. What? That's insane. Like, you can dog the kicker, you can put, he deserves some blame. There's no doubt about that. But that defense should be wearing paper bags all week during practice, because that is embarrassing. You gave up 33 points when you had them down they had none going into the fourth. They ain't even had a field goal yet. That's crazy. You want to talk about it? Is the defensive coordinator still employed in New York? That's the who I want to know who's still employed. That was insane to me. You were talking about the Bengals and Steelers. What were your takeaways? What did you notice in that game?
I would say that trade worked out pretty well for the Bengals to get the old man Flacco, because it was the battle of the 40-year-old quarterback, and Flacco came in and just lit it up like it was the Flacco of old days, the Flacco that went to the Super Bowl. And he just, who would have thunk it? Who would have thought it? And it just goes to show that it's what I said. I don't think the Steelers are going to make it to the playoffs. I think Tomlin is done. This will be his last year because the Steelers defense is not playing like the Steelers defense. First off, they gave up 33 points to a 40-year-old quarterback that wasn't on their side. And not only that, a quarterback who basically practiced, 2 days on his new team? So the Steelers, even though they have a good record, the 4-2, I just don't think they're going to get there. I think it's going to implode because you thought when Aaron Rodgers brought him back and his lineman tackled him and Aaron Rodgers lost his mind, get off me, all this stuff. I just think that is an issue that is going to implode the more games they lose.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with you more on that. Personally, I just the Steelers are 4-2 in that division, and who the hell is going to overtake them? It ain't going to be the Ravens. It ain't going to be the Browns. And the Bengals defense is still horrible. I mean, they still gave up 31 to Aaron Rodgers in that offense. So, and they're not that great. And Trey Hendrickson may be a Cowboy. That's another one I would say the Cowboys need to look at trading for, because the Bengals were trying to get rid of him before the season.
Let me restate. They may make the playoffs just based on what you're saying, but they're not going to go anywhere.
Oh, I don't disagree with that point. Like I don't think they make a deep run, but I think they're going to win the division, which puts them in the playoffs. Ultimately, yeah, it was really fun to watch those two quarterbacks duel it out. Rodgers had 4 passing touchdowns, and Joe Flacco had 3. So they were slinging it around. Joe Flacco had 342 yards, and Aaron Rodgers had 250. I think it was 249, but 250. And that part of it was a lot of fun. But it's also, you're right, the Steelers' defense isn't the same. I don't know if it's going to be it's not going to be Mike Tomlin's last year if they make the playoffs and win the division. I don't think that's going to happen.
I think it is. I think you need to remember this. I think it is. If they do not go on a deep run in the playoffs, Tomlin is done.
I mean, the man's never had a losing record. So you just have a certain level of sustain. And me being a coach, or a former coach, I guess you say, is the baseline for your program. All you want is to be 500 or better. And if you're doing that, you're being pretty damn successful. The Steelers have never been under 500 under Mike Tomlin. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I thought the Colts, they beat your Chargers. The Chargers seem like a little bit in a free fall. They've lost 3 in a row now. The Colts, I'm going to have to say they're legit contenders now. I just think they are. I think Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in the league this year. Obviously, last year it was Saquon, but Jonathan Taylor is just something else. Daniel Jones has all kinds. They have Ty Warren, who I wanted the Cowboys to take in the first round. Now, I've been happy that we took a guard and we didn't have any offensive line issues even though I did think Hoffman could fill in admirably as a starter last year when I saw him do it. But the Colts look legit, and I think they're not going to sneak up on anyone. They have a pretty somewhat light schedule because of how bad they were last year. And I like what I'm seeing out of them. Indiana Jones is doing his thing, but I want you to speak on the Chargers and what you're seeing out of your Los Angeles Superchargers. Is this going to continue, or are they going to turn it around this week?
Well, they've got me baffled a little bit.
They got the whole league baffled.
The quarterback play, Haber is not playing at
Herbert?
the level. Herbert. Sorry.
Haber.
But he is not playing at the level that he started the year at, it seems like. And I don't know if there's something wrong. I don't know what's going on with that, to be honest with you. I really don't. So we're just going to have to see. You know, they don't have an easy game. In fact, they're playing tomorrow night against the Vikings. So they need to get.
And I don't know. I did not pick that game, or actually, I did pick that game. Vikings to me are fool's gold right now. They lost last week. Carson Wentz is the starting quarterback. JJ still hurt. So, yeah, that they haven't done very well. Carson Wentz at quarterback. So that'll give you a little insight to who I'm picking in that game. But it will be a tough test for that defense. And Herbert needs to I think he needs to. You mentioned he's not playing well. I think this, and do you agree with me? He needs to have a statement game tomorrow night.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
Totally
agree.
And I would have to say this. I don't know if there's a most improved player award in the NFL, but I know there's a comeback player in the NFL. Indiana Jones should be the comeback player of the year. That's my pick.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw that out there. Did you see the Mahomes fake?
No.
The fake 4th down where he gets behind the huddle and he's giving the hard count. And he looks at the sideline and he's going like, this never effing works. And then like turns around and quick snaps it and they end up getting the first down. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen on a football field. The Chiefs look like they're back. I think we were both wrong on the Chiefs. I did pick them to win the AFC West because they're the Chiefs, not because of anything I had seen before the season. And honestly, I wasn't too confident in it. It was my pick, but I think the Chiefs are back. I think you texted me about it. I mentioned a bad call on the Vikings because Carson Wentz was starting. That was a terrible pick by me.
And once again, the international game was stupid in London. And the Jaguars are another team that's got me baffled. You know, is the inconsistency. They look like they had it together, and now all of a sudden, they are in a free fall also.
Yeah, they got dismantled by the Rams, right?
Yes, 35-7 in London. So Sir George might have had something to say about that. We had crappy games there. But the other game, that really it was tough to watch because I watched a fellow Aggie go down again, Mike Evans in the Buccaneers game. It really looked bad, actually. It didn't look like a bad hit or anything, but he went down. They said he's got another concussion and he broke his collarbone. All in this play that he wasn't really getting tackled. It was more reaching out and he was making an unbelievable catch. but because his collarbone broke and he hit the ground hard, he lost the ball and didn't make the catch. And unfortunately for Baker Mayfield, he was hoping that he was going to have his star receiver back, but now he's going to be out probably the rest of the year.
Well, yeah, I
So,
think they've already ruled him out for the year with the broken collarbone. When that happened, he instantly went limp when his head hit, and I knew he was out. He was out cold. And you never want to see that happen to any player. I don't care who you play for, even if you're a Philadelphia Eagle. I don't want you to see that happen to you. And so at first, obviously you think it's just, and then when he stood up, you're like, okay, it's concussion, right? And then the news comes out that he broke his collarbone, which I have done before in my life. It's the second most painful recovery I've ever had, because every time you move when you're asleep or you do anything, you feel every single pain receptor in that area. So thoughts and prayers out to Mike Evans. What'd you say?
That's the only bone I broke in football.
Yep. Well, ironically, I broke it in football, but street football. So, so yeah. And then I just started playing basketball from then on. So, all right. Let's go ahead and move forward. Oh man. Should we take our last break, or should we save that after a couple segments? What do you think?
I think you could save it.
All right, let's go straight into from the NFL to the NFL G League, essentially college football. A&M number 3. They take care of business last weekend. Holy Toledo, best start since like 1993, something like that for the A&M Aggies. If you look at the top of the standings, Ohio State obviously won. Who the hell did they put number 2?
Indiana.
Oh, that's ridiculous. They won't be there for long. Because do they? I'm gonna look it up. I'll look it up unless you have their schedule in front of you. Does Indiana play Ohio State this year?
I will have to look, but
yeah,
I do.
But I'll look it up. You give the people your thoughts while watching your Fighting Aggies.
Well, no, I have the Indiana schedule. No, they have UCLA, Maryland, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Purdue is what they have next. So
okay, well they may stay undefeated then. No, well they'll probably play the Big Ten or Ohio State in the Big Ten championship.
Well, holy shnikey. Texas A&M, it's like I said, I thought at the beginning of the year after a couple of those games that we had something going, just because our quarterback is just, the game has slowed down for him. You can see it. He is not as rushed as he was last year. Marcel Reed is, and now they're talking about Heisman for him, that he's moving up in that, which he should, because he's doing everything right. And that's why, that's not the total reason why this team is winning the way they are, but they are moving the football. And he provides a weapon not only with his arm, which has been extremely accurate this year, but with his legs. But you also look at the players around him. So, and this defense, it just, they are a very well-rounded team. And as much as people made a think about who the coach was when they picked him, well, I think you guys are kind of eating a little crow, because he's proven what he can do. Because if you go back to a guy named Jimbo and how much time he had with A&M and all the hoopla and money, he didn't get them nowhere near this. He got them to the top 10 at one point, but they weren't this dominant. Now they're starting to be a dominant team.
Well, I want to throw this caveat out there because you basically had a Marcel Reed clone on the other side with Arkansas. And I know Arkansas always seems to be a maybe throw out the records type game for Texas A&M. That defense who we've given tons of props to all year, saying they're a championship, they gave up 42 to Arkansas. Are you concerned about that? I was a little bit concerned about that because that quarterback for Arkansas was torching the defense.
Well, to a certain extent. I mean, I'm concerned to a certain extent. But this is going to happen in college football more than it does in the pros. You're going to come up against a team that's playing at home that really has nothing to lose, and they get hyped up. And Arkansas and Texas A&M, it's always that way. But the difference this year was our quarterback. And so is there some concern? Yeah. But they've had a few injuries on the defensive side of the ball, too.
Well, unless those injured players are coming back here soon, the concern needs to be legitimate. Because here's the other thing. Not only did Taylon Green for Arkansas have 3 touchdowns and 256 yards, Mike Washington and Taylon Green and Braylon Russell for Arkansas all had over 7 yards a carry, and 2 of those averaged over 9 yards a carry, with Mike Washington Jr. having 147 yards on the ground, Taylon Green 85, and Braylon Russell 36, 4 carries for 36. So where I get concerned is those injuries taking their toll, and the rush defense and that defense kind of fall. It almost starts becoming, is this the mini version of the Cowboys where the offense is going to have to score 30, 40 points a game with those injuries to the defense, and maybe some teams figuring out the Texas A&M defense. Got a big game this weekend against LSU. LSU ain't no joke. They're not the LSU dominant teams of the past, but this isn't a game you can just assume A&M is going to win. They're going to have to come to play. So what do you expect to see from this defense this Saturday, and from LSU, Texas A&M as a whole? Because are they in Death Valley?
Yes, they are in yes, they are in Death Valley. It's a 6:30 game.
So it's a night
Saturday.
game too.
Yeah.
So that's a tough place to go at night.
Oh yeah, it is, and this is, it's one of those games that in the past I would really be worried, but this year, like I said, I think we're more all around, and I think, defense wasn't so great against Arkansas. It wasn't so great against Notre Dame, but those are the only 2 teams. And Notre Dame, you could say, well, they were, pretty darn good team. And even though Arkansas was unranked, Arkansas is pretty good team and always gets up for that game against the Aggies. So other than that, the defense hasn't given up very many points. I mean, they only gave up 10 to Auburn. Mississippi State only scored 9. The Gators only scored 17, and that was after their big game the previous week. So the defense has been pretty consistent except for these couple of games, and I expect them to be the same way against LSU. But I think it's our offense and our quarterback and our special teams, quite frankly. Special teams has been really good for the A&M with Concepcion. Because we've got a pretty tough end of the schedule here, because after LSU we got number 15 Missouri at Missouri. This was one of the things that the coach talked about, was they have these 3 away games against tough opponents. Then you got South Carolina, then we got Stanford, which is not a big deal, but then of course we got to finish it off against Texas, and it really doesn't matter what Texas's record is going to be. It's going to be the same thing it is against Arkansas. It's a big rivalry game. So, and it's in Austin.
Yeah,
so,
you throw out the records with those two teams play, of course, but want to get into some other things from this past weekend so we can kind of got a lot to get to. The rest of the show is the mighty fall this past weekend. Miami loses, LSU lost, Ole Miss lost, Texas Tech and Tennessee. Most of those were top 15 teams. Franklin got fired last week. Napier got fired this week from Florida. And I think if LSU loses this game, I think Brian Kelly might be next. Just throwing that out there. I think he could be on the chopping block. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and go to our last commercial break before we come back. We talk a little baseball and NBA and then making the most of your moment.
Attention leaders planning your 2025 leadership retreat. Are you about to throw $30,000 to $40,000 out the door on flashy speakers and trendy activities that lose impact in 2 months? Don't waste your budget on short-lived inspiration. Partner with Easy Leadership and harness the disc work of leaders to gain real data insights into your company's real-world issues. We'll uncover your team's strengths and tackle critical challenges in vision, alignment, and execution, creating a strategic action plan that drives lasting, measurable results. Act now. Contact Easy Leadership at easyleadership.com to invest in leadership that transforms your organization for the long haul.
All right, welcome back. All right, let's get off the gridiron. Let's go to the baseball diamond. The World Series starts this Friday. We thought it was going to be Dodgers, Mariners. Mariners had a 2-0 lead after the first two games of the ALCS. Well, the Mariners ain't going to the World Series. Still, I'm going to say that again, still the only Major League Baseball team never to go to the World Series. You almost got a feel for them, for the franchise. Blue Jays, they get beat by a Houston legend, George Springer, in Game 7 in the bottom of the 7th inning, 3-run homer to put them up ahead of the Mariners the rest of that game. Did you catch any of that? I know you've been busy transitioning to your secret location.
Yeah, it's not a whole lot of it. But yeah, it is what it is. I didn't think, like we both didn't think that Toronto was going to do this, but Toronto just has found a way to, they took out the Yankees pretty easily in the series. And this one, you thought Seattle, just with their pitching and all around, and Bochy would say, catching the ball, hitting the ball, you thought Seattle finally was going to have a chance to get there. But the Blue
you got to
Jays
throw the ball too. You forgot the quote. He would also say, "I'm catching some bass with some cute ass." But ultimately, his that made him take a drink. That's hilarious.
My question is anybody interested in this World Series at all?
I think for the people millions of people are interested in this. You have an entire country in Canada getting behind the Blue Jays. You have Los Angeles, who is now the new evil empire. They have a damn all-star team in Los Angeles. Ohtani is doing things that we've never seen. He might end up being the greatest baseball player of all time, in all honesty, what he does pitching and hitting the ball. He had 3 home runs and hit one out of Dodger Stadium, by the way, in that last game. 3, it was just an insane performance. Struck out 10. I think he went 6 or 7 innings. Amazing performance in his pitching. His last game he pitched. So
I would have to agree with you. What the Dodgers lost one game this entire playoff.
Yeah, I believe one to the Phillies. Here's my thing. Now, I think there's a lot of people interested in this, but I think a lot of people are cheering for the Blue Jays because the Dodgers are the evil empire now. I can't cheer for the Blue Jays. I'm sorry.
Nope.
As a Rangers fan.
Totally different country.
Not only that, but as a Rangers fan, I remember Jose Bautista and the Toronto Blue Jays in the bat flip that happened in the playoffs, that he walked it off in Game 7 that sent the Rangers home in, I think, 2013. I remember Jose Bautista sliding in a second and providing us with the greatest pitcher of all time when Odor punches him in the face. There's too much history with the Blues. I can cheer for George Springer. I like George Springer. I think he's one of the greatest leadoff men in the history of the game. He's, spent here in Houston, did a great job cheating with Houston to win a 2017 World Series. But ultimately, I can cheer for him because he got hit in the knee. The fans cheered in Seattle. There was a bunch of bull honky there. You kind of cheer for that, but I can't cheer for the Blue Jays as an organization. So by default, I'm predicting the Dodgers winning the World Series.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm
All
not
right.
going to go against it.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and went from the gridiron to the diamond. Let's go to the hard court last night. Now, I know the old man, he's been working his tail off. He didn't really see much last night. Probably doesn't know much going on tonight about NBA basketball. And those who have watched this show consistently know I don't like watching a lot of NBA basketball, but it's kind of part of the job when you're talking sports, when you're talking Houston Rockets, when you potentially may work for an organization that your job will be sports. So last night, the Rockets going to double overtime against the Oklahoma City Thunder. It was banner night. It was ring night. I saw a lot of the stuff that I don't like about the league when it comes to traveling, when it comes to calls, when it comes to flopping, all this stuff that has become the NBA. This is what I was looking for from the Houston Rockets, and this is what I would encourage you in the future to look for as my co-host. Do the Rockets, after the Kevin Durant trade, have enough to win a championship? I didn't like the trade originally. Kevin Durant has never been that dude, in my opinion. He's 36, 37 years old now. He just signed a 2-year extension with the Rockets, which, by the way, gives him more career earnings than any player in NBA history, even more than LaFlop James. Okay, so at the end of the day, I'm interested to see how this Houston Rockets team gels with no true point guard and Amen Thompson at the point guard right now. So that's going to be interesting. The Lakers lose to the Warriors last night. I love it. Anytime the Lakers lose, I love it. I hope the Lakers go 0-82, to be honest. Sorry, Luka. I hope you go 0-82. You finally got skinny. You finally got in shape. If you were in shape last year, you wouldn't be a Laker right now. If you weren't fat, Luka, you wouldn't be a Laker right now. That's all I got to say about that. I love you, Luka. You're an incredible player, but you got fat. You got traded, and I'm sorry. It just, that's how I feel about it. Yeah, so Mavs Spurs tonight. Wemby, Cooper Flag. I know you might not catch too much of this. It's a late tip-off. It's about to tip off here in about 15 or so minutes. Are you going to catch any of that game? What's your expectation for your Spurs?
Well, we got to see. I think it's too early in the season to really expect a whole lot. I mean, but it's going to be interesting to see these two superstars, or one of them a brand new superstar, going up against each other. A lot of hype. So I'm just going to wait and see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because the Mavericks they're actually starting Cooper Flag at point guard tonight, which to me is crazy. But unfortunately, I did tease J Kidd was going to be here. Actually, you know what? He's here, but he's only got like 2 or 3 minutes. So you better be ready for your questions really quick with J Kidd, because he's got to get back to Dallas very, very quickly. And then after that, we'll have picks with Pops. Yeah, I'll go grab them.
Okay, well, there you go. It's always interesting to me that these coaches come out while they're playing, while they're fixing to be a game. So, yeah, we haven't heard from J Kidd in a while. So it's going to be interesting to hear his perspective for the 2 minutes he's going to be on of how the season's going to go. So, all right, Coach Kidd, the man known as the Kid.
Yep.
What?
How we doing?
Yeah, and of course now I would have internet issues. Can you hear me, Ari?
Yeah. I got you.
Okay, because I've lost your video, or no, maybe I got your video back. I don't know. But just really quickly, I know you ain't got much time because you got to run all the way from Conroe to Dallas or wherever that you got to play. What's your thoughts on the season now that you've got the Coop?
Well, I like Cooper Flag because ultimately he was the number one pick, and he can pretty much do it all. And he walks around with like a pole, and he's always waving it around. And I don't know if that's why they call him Cooper Flag, but I like it when he was waving the American flag around. It's very patriotic. And I think it sets a good example for the children's. And so, yeah, I will say Cooper Flag and the flagpole and what he does for our team is like a perfectly balanced peanut butter or jelly sandwich. Yeah.
So, okay, so you're going there again. What you used to say about Luca, but now you've got your peanut butter and jelly back. So, are we going to see any, now that Popovich is gone, are you going to do any popcorn type plays this year?
Well, I switched up my play design strategy from noodles. Pop did use popcorn, and I used spaghetti noodles. I remember that explicitly in a previous interview. So I went from spaghetti noodles. Oh wait, maybe I still use spaghetti. No, they're not spaghetti. Oh yeah, I use ravioli squares now.
Okay, well there you go. Yeah, they got cheese or they got meat. What type of ravioli?
Well, I actually get them specially made from strangled venison from the former Texas Ranger manager Bruce Bochy.
Well, all I can say is, oh dear, that's really bad.
Us in the head coaching profession, we're a really small and tight knit group, and we're so tight knit. Sometimes we even just walk around holding hands and skipping and do a little head coaching retreats.
Going bass fishing.
Well, I that's something he does exclusively with his wife. I will not go bass fishing with manager B Boach, even though he did offer me a couple pina coladas now that he is retired. But ultimately, I have really high expectations for this basketball team, and because I am the basketball coach. So at the end of the day, we're going to do really well. And my agent is telling me I should probably get back to the arena here very, very quickly. So I thank you, Eddie, the original schedule, for having me on as a guest. And I look forward to the next time. This has probably been the most pleasant conversation that we have ever had together. So this interview,
well, let me just ruin that by saying, go Spurs.
Well, that was rude and unprofessional, and you just unbalanced the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you asshole.
Well, okay, there you have it. Coach Kidd acting like a kid, but headed back to the arena is very. That's a long way to go. But so he has moved from spaghetti to ravioli in his coaching technique, not taking on the popcorn as Coach Popovich. So we'll see tonight. It's like I said, I hold judgment back on these teams until they get a few games into the season, and then we'll see what happens. So,
all right, yeah. Jay Kidd, he didn't even stay and eat. I had ravioli ready and made, and Linda worked on it. Handmade ravioli for Jay Kidd tonight, and he didn't even eat any because he had to get back to the game. So, all right, we'll see what happens between the Spurs and Mavs tonight and the Rockets and how their season ends up going. But let's go ahead and move to the people's favorite segment, Picks with Pops. Not a great week for you or me. We both went 3-4 last week. We're still above 500 for the year. By the way, number of games is incorrect. That should have been up to 42, by the way. I was in a hurry adjusting this, and I forgot to do that. So you called the Cowboys. I was feeling the Redskins that Jaden Daniels was going to be back and be in rhythm. I was so happy to be wrong on that. You got the Broncos right somehow. That 33-point collapse by the Giants. Your boy Scattaboo couldn't get the job done. So scatter no more. We were both wrong on the Vikings because I think we both didn't take into consideration Carson Wentz was the quarterback. I'm going to be honest. That was a bad call by us. And then both right on the Seahawks beating the Texans. I was correct on the Lions trumping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was wrong on the Falcons. You were wrong on the Jets. I can't believe I don't ever pick for the Jets the rest of the year. They may go 0-17. I was right on KC, and you were incorrect on the Cardinals. You had a couple upset picks there that didn't work out. So for the folks who don't know how we do picks with friends, or not picks with friends, that's a ticket thing up in Dallas-Fort Worth. Holy shitty balls. Picks with Pops. It's even on the screen. I even created this. Holy crap. Terrible programming by yours truly there. Picks with Pops. We always do the NFC East games. We always do the Texans game. And then we have 3 wild cards for a total of 7 games every week, as you can see on the screen. So the Houston game, we got the 49ers coming to Houston, Texas, NRG Stadium. Who you got?
It's going to be the 49ers. I think 49ers have just put together, well, obviously their running game from McCaffrey. That's kind of all they did in their last game and did fairly well. So I don't think the Texans have a chance, even though they're playing in Houston. I just don't see them pulling this game out. So going 49ers.
I tend to agree with you. And to my beautiful wife who just commented, get it together, because she's right next door listening. I'm probably keeping her awake at this point. I apologize. Yeah, I'm trying to get it together. It's terrible. Go Saints. Yeah, good luck with that. You're in football purgatory, honey. All right. But I do agree with you. 49ers over Houston. It is a absolutely dumpster fire, Houston offensively. All right, we got Giants going to the Eagles. I love Jackson Dart. I love the spark he's brought. You love Scattaboo, but in this game, I'm going Philadelphia.
Well, here's my upset of the week. I'm riding the Giants, riding Scatterboo and the Dart train.
Sounds very homosexual.
Okay, well, let me rephrase. I'm with them winning, riding the winning train.
Well, there is no train. They haven't even left the station. They lost last week, but
but I just think this is an NFC East game. I realize it's in Philadelphia, but I still don't think Philadelphia even though they did pretty good last week.
They figured out how to throw the ball a little bit, and I think that's going to continue. I thought last week was going to tell you how Philly season was going to go the rest of the year. It was either going to be a train wreck or they're going to figure it out. I think offensively they figured it out a little bit, at least passing the ball. Saquon still missing in action running the ball. All right, Cowboys at the Broncos. Now, I'm going to be on with the Bronco boys here after this show, so I'm going to get to debate this a lot. Who you got? Do you got the high-flying Cowboys, or do you got the defense of the Denver Broncos in this game?
I'm going with the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys' offense is just too good right now. It's going to be a struggle. This game's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be a shootout, but I think in a shootout, Dak, CD, and Pickens and Ferguson will overcome Bo Nix and his team. So, yes, I think the Cowboys.
No love for the running game, huh?
Well, I think they're going to have to light it up. They're going to have to move down the field and score points because Nick has already proven he can do it. Obviously, in this last game, scoring 33 points in one quarter.
Yeah, I think that had to do with a lot with the giant mistakes. I don't think they're going to do that even as bad as the Cowboys defense has been, even though it was a little better last week. I think the Cowboys actually win this by 10. I think it's going to be a close game throughout. I think the Cowboys will kind of seal the deal. I think there's going to be a turnover in that third or fourth quarter that lets the Cowboys separate a little bit. And I also think Williams he is extra motivated this week going against his former team that just gave up on him. He had a couple injuries while he was there. They just gave up on him. So I think Williams is going to have a beast of a game. So I have the Cowboys as well. All right. Commanders at Kansas City. I think Kansas City is back. They got all their weapons. We all jumped the gun on writing them off a little too soon. And we'll see. I don't know if they're going to win the Super Bowl, but during the regular season, they are legit. I don't know if Jaden Daniels is playing this weekend, but Mariota looked absolutely terrible once he came in. He can still run as a quarterback, still got some good legs, but I got Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm going Kansas City also. I don't think the Commanders can go into Kansas City and win, especially if Daniels isn't at quarterback. And even if they had him, I still don't think they're good enough to beat the Chiefs at home.
Yeah, especially if he's not healthy. So, all right, your two teams, your little little Vikings team you rode with all last year against your team that's in a free fall at the moment. Vikings at San Diego. Who you going with?
Well, if they go to San Diego, they're not going to be playing the San Diego State team because the Chargers play in Los Angeles.
You know what I mean.
I thought we got to pick whatever team we want, so I got to pick this one.
Oh, are you? I figured you pick San Diego like every week, but
it's Los Angeles.
You know what I mean.
But yes, I'm taking the Chargers.
Okay, all right. Well, yes, we are in our wild card picks. I had a feeling you were going to pick that one because you generally pick the Chargers every week. So I have Los Angeles as well. All right, my next wild card game is the Titans at the Colts. I need some dubs. I'm taking the Colts.
Oh, easy one. Well, then I'm taking an easy one. Buccaneers at the Saints. They are going to beat the Saints, and Kayla Moore is going to be 1-7 after this week.
All right. And the next one, I got Packers at the Steelers. I'm taking the old man Rodgers to beat his former team in the Steel City. Give me Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, I'm going head-to-head with you on that one because I'm going to say the Green Bay Packers are going to come in there and continue the Steelers' losing way.
All right. Well, you need one more game, sir. So what's your last game?
So the last game is going to be a huge upset.
If you pick the Jets again,
The Bills are going to lose to the Carolina Panthers this weekend.
you picked the Panthers in an upset last week too, and it didn't work out for you.
Yeah, well, I'm riding with them again.
I think Bryce Young is hurt, by the way, but you already picked him, so can't change it.
Well, thanks for that. I didn't know that.
Sorry, I already wrote it down. All right. Well, there's picks with Pops. We'll see how the weekend goes. And how would you get on top? All right. Very quickly, making the most of your moment, donated by yours truly to the old man, because he's been so busy working and making money with the new job. Congratulations, by the way. And yeah, so this was one I sent to him months ago that I resent.
Yeah. All right. Should be coming up as soon as you can see it. Can you see it?
Nope.
Why isn't it showing? Let me see if I play it. Will it show? You don't see it?
Nope.
Not working. Okay. So
there we go. Dang it. I had it. Now you totally just took it away.
Hang on.
We're hanging on. The
again.
people are in suspense now.
Okay.
There we go.
This one that he gave me is from 17 years ago. I was a very young man back then.
Well,
but this
relatively.
one, a lot of people have seen this one. I think it's Toronto, or is it?
Well, it's
I don't know,
a minor league game.
This is all about the ball girl and what she does. So here we go. Without further ado.
When this came out, I thought it was made up. I thought it was baloney. And so hits this foul ball. And she climbs the wall. And then just tosses the ball to him and tips the cap. Yep. I do it all the time. My first question about this is, how was she already down there?
Wow.
That was insane.
Yes, it was. Well, there you go.
So making the most of your moment by yours truly. All right. Tidbits and randoms and whiskey of the week. You have any tidbits?
Stop sending games to freaking London and overseas. I guess they're playing in Madrid and all these other places. One team is, what was it this weekend? It was, hang on. The Rams showed up like 4 hours before the game. They flew in, and everybody said, "Oh, well, they're going to play terrible." Well, I think they figured it out because they kicked the crap out of the Jaguars. But just stop with these international games. There's never a good game, and nobody's up at freaking 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the damn morning to watch a football game. It just throws off the flow. So just stop.
If it was a good game, I think people would be up, because you think about it, then you have football all day. You got morning game, afternoon game, night game. So
look,
if you're a football nut, it works out.
You get up in the morning, you get ready for church, you go to church, you go get your chicken or whatever it is you're going to eat for lunch, and then you go home and the first game starts and you're ready to go.
Well,
that's how it's supposed to work. It's not that I get up, I got to run to Denny's because it's the only damn place open at the freaking that crack of dawn on Sunday or some mom and pop grill, and then try to watch a football game and then get anything else done. It's supposed to be a day of rest. Don't make me get up early on the day of rest.
Well, you can't condemn and use the day of rest thing when you're playing football the rest of the day starting at noon. So I wouldn't use that argument, but it is early. And they're not, you have the point, and I agree with you. They tend to not be super great games. Jaguars basically live over there. If any franchise was ever going to move to London, it'd be the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm sure they all have like complimentary flats in London already. My tidbit, and I'm sure I'm going to get to talk about this with the crew here in a little bit when I hop on their show, is the beef between Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. Sean Payton was asked a question, and he mentioned they were hoping they would make the switch to Jackson Dart long after they played. A lot of people took that as a shot at Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson called Sean Payton classless and said something about you still bounty hunting players 15 years after Bounty Gate or whatever. To me, I think it was a compliment to Jackson Dart and how good he's been. And I think there's no doubt that freaking Russell Wilson, one, was a travesty in Denver. He absolutely fleeced that franchise out of $250 million. And he also, hasn't been good since. So I would want to play Russell Wilson right now if I was an opposing team too, because I know I'm going to win. So I just thought that was interesting. So that was really my only tidbit from this week that I saw that was worth noting in the sports world. So, all right, whiskey of the week. We have TX whiskey in the canter here, distilled in Fort Worth, Texas. It's one of my favorites. Was a staple at my wedding in May. It's always normally a bottle somewhere in the house, but TX whiskey, love it. One of my faves. And that's all I got. You good to go? You got anything left?
Nope, I am ready to be done.
All right. Well, folks, we appreciate y'all listening.
Go A&M.
Yep, gig 'em. We appreciate y'all listening. Make sure you go follow us on X, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook groups, all that good stuff. On Time Sports Talk, you can find me at Coach Schedule and him at Easy Eddie. Like something, follow something, share something. All of it helps us. And when we start really pitching to sponsors and trying to get our numbers up. We appreciate it. And y'all have a good one. Peace. We're out of here.
Peace out.